Next year is shaping up to be a big one for bombshell insights into the royal family, with Prince Harry's upcoming memoir and now another royal throwing their tell-all book into the mix. Edward Kent, the Queen's first cousin, has announced he will be releasing a memoir in 2022 which promises to tell the inside story behind the scenes of the world's most celebrated family. The 86-year-old has been close to the Queen his entire life. She was present at his christening in the private chapel of Buckingham Palace, and 8.5 decades later he stood by her side at her first birthday parade since the death of Prince Philip. Edward's book is slated to release next May and its timing has been noted as highly significant, placed before the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations and beating the release of Prince Harry's tell-all autobiography. Royal fans have been celebrating the news and many have claimed the book will be more exciting than Prince Harry's, which is slated for late 2022. One fan took to Twitter to say, "It sounds more exciting than that book that Prince Harry is said to be writing." Another said, "Now that's a memoir to read." A third rudely added, "I can't shake off the feeling that Prince Edward, Duke of Kent's memoir is supposed to balance out any CP that will come from Harry's soon-to-fail memoir." The blurb for Edward Kent's memoir reads, "The Duke has been involved in all key royal events through his life. After the early death of his father he walked in the procession behind the King's coffin in 1952 and he paid homage to his cousin, the new Queen, at the coronation in 1953. He was riding with her when the blanks were fired at the Trooping of the Colour in 1981, and he was the only member of the royal family to stand alongside the Queen to celebrate her official birthday in June 2021. The Duke of Kent is often lovingly described as Steady Eddie in the firm due to his loyal service to the royal family." The upcoming memoir will be based on conversations the Duke held with the royal historian and acclaimed biographer Hugo Vickers. A Royal Life by Edward Kent is set for release in May 2022. Besides, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have marked 1 year since the Sussexes released the first episode of their Archie audio podcast. They have earned a staggering £486,000 per minute for their work so far. Others have suggested, however, that Spotify would almost certainly not have paid the full fee upfront, but instead a small advance. Harry and Meghan have also signed a multi-million-pound deal with Netflix. Royal expert Russell Myers, however, warned the streaming giants are going to want their pound of flesh at some point. Speaking in January, Mr. Myers said, "They want to try and work out where Harry and Meghan's future lies and whether it is to carry on with this juggernaut of signing themselves up to projects with these massive corporations that arguably will want their pound of flesh at the end of it. I don't think they'll just give out tens of millions of pounds to Harry and Meghan to just churn out podcasts like they did on the pilot episode we heard recently. As nice as it was, I don't think it's breaking any new ground. And certainly the money that is being given to Harry and Meghan, they are going to presumably want them to do something a bit meatier. And whether that involves them showing their lives in California or whether it involves them doing historical projects about the royal family or talking about their position before Megxit." The Sussexes hired veteran podcast producer Rebecca Sunnies as their head of audio in August, with exciting projects reportedly in the pipeline. A Spotify source recently told, Spotify were delighted when they signed the couple, but the lack of content has mystified them. Particularly as they seem to have no problem producing content for other platforms. Media lawyer Ian Penman, who specializes in music streaming contracts, recently told Express.co.uk that Spotify may have overestimated Meghan and Harry's popularity. He said, "It would not be an unfair assumption that perhaps their popularity was not as great as maybe they or indeed Spotify initially felt. I think you could draw a conclusion that if Spotify haven't exercised the option on the next episode of the podcast, then maybe they did not have the popularity that either Meghan and Harry expected or indeed Spotify anticipated." Mr. Penman stressed Spotify would not have lost out if the deal did not go quite as planned. He explained that when musicians sign large deals, they do not receive all of the money they are entitled to on day one. He said, "When they talk about an £18 million Spotify podcast deal, it probably means that they have signed their first product, in this case a podcast. They then have many options for further products." He added, "If all those options are exercised, and we don't know how many podcasts that relates to, it may be that the total money spent by Spotify is £18 million. So, have they lost any money today? Probably, not a penny.